Sometimes things like a 3D print, well, they turn out so good it's priceless. And there's also machines, 3D printers and more, that give you that same feeling. And this big wooden box, well, I have even bigger expectations. Monport contacted me a while back and asked if I'd be interested in checking out their new GA60 MOPA Fiber Laser. And at the time, I wasn't quite sure what MOPA meant. Spoiler, it's not a new trendy coffee order. But the words fiber laser, well, that had me hooked. Now, this isn't a paid review. They just sent it over for me to check out. And while I haven't used it long enough to call this a real full review, if the rest of the experience is anything like the setup, we might have something legendary on our hands. Getting the box upstairs was probably the hardest part. Unboxing and getting it all running with Lightburn, well, that only took about 15 minutes. I've never had a 3D printer working that fast. I have to say though that I had a few issues that were completely my fault. For instance, did you know a fiber laser comes with a lens cap to protect the lens? No, well, me either. So guess what happened when I started testing? Yeah, this is my lens cap now. Glad I have a 3D printer. I can fix that. Oh, and just a note, if you have something like this happen, either with your cap or an engraving, if there's a lot of smoke, you should very carefully clean the lens. Your tests won't go well if you don't. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Okay, dude?
Laser engraving has come a long way from bulky industrial-only machines to desktop-friendly diodes. But fiber lasers, well, these are on a whole new level. They're faster, they're cleaner, and way more powerful. Which means the Monport GA60 MOPA Fiber Laser, well, it's not just another engraver. It's kind of like the Tony Stark of lasers. Sleek, powerful, and loaded with features you may not even know you needed yet. I'm going to talk more about all of that in a minute, but let's just say things are going to get colorful. I do have a few diode lasers, and I know I've shown some of those here with me using them with 3D printing, but this fiber laser, well, total upgrade. The differences are huge. First, and I still don't understand all the reasons behind this, fiber lasers don't work well with wood, and it's something to do with pulse duration and power delivery, but they do work on metals like stainless steel, titanium, aluminum, copper, and even non-metals like plastics, ceramics, and stone. Yeah, stone. I'm definitely going to be trying that one out later. You can even weld metals together. Now, I haven't done that, but I've seen where people are even cleaning old rusty tools. Something else I can't wait to try is using a depth map to create my own 3D looking coins when I get some. Not to mention making a deep 3D engraving in stone. And now you can see why I'm excited about that one. Digging into the specs of this machine, the GA60 is pretty impressive. It's a 60-watt powerhouse with enough juice to mark and cut, like I said, all those metals, stone, and more. And that MOPA technology I mentioned, I assume it can be said MOPA, that stands for Master Oscillator Power Amplifier. And well, that just means it has adjustable pulse durations, which really also just means you get insane precision for all the cuts and marks. There is a high-speed galvo head that can run at up to 15,000 millimeters a second, and that's practically light speed. It doesn't move the way a diode laser head does, kind of like a 3D printer back and forth, and it doesn't actually even seem like it's moving at all. It's kind of like laser sorcery. Of course, there's Lightburn integration, which is what I'm using, and in case you don't know, Lightburn's kind of like a slicer for your 3D printer. Now, I didn't know when I first started, but a fiber laser requires the pro version of Lightburn, so I did have to shell out a little bit more money for that, but since I already knew Lightburn, I think it was worth it. Something I didn't really think about was cooling. Fiber lasers just work with air. No water pumps or tubes to babysit. Thank you. I should also mention that the focusing lens that comes standard with the GA60, it's a 175 by 175 millimeter work area. And now I know that's not the biggest area, think Bamboo A1 Mini, but for crafts, coins, and a lot more, it's plenty big. And you can always move your objects and do more along the way. To go along with the lens, it's got an incredible built-in autofocus feature that just works. And that's great not only for beginners, but everybody, since that's going to save a lot of time. A really cool feature is you can unhook the entire tower and swing it around to the side. So if you want to engrave on something too large for your build plate, like luggage, well, you can just engrave over the side of the table. Now that's thinking outside the box. I know, you're thinking, well, all that sounds great, but why do I need another machine when I already have all those 3D printers? Well, I kind of had those same thoughts. But remember, when I said that a fiber laser, specifically MOPA Fiber Laser, when I said it works with all sorts of materials, stone, and plastic, the very first thing I did when I got this thing going was to test it out and try something that they call annealing on plastic. And I wasn't quite sure about that term. I didn't really want to melt the plastic and reform it or whatever I thought annealing meant. But with lasers, it's all about melting just that very top surface, so small that you can't really even feel it. Otherwise, it would be engraving. Whatever the term you use, I spent a lot of time and PLA business cards on seeing what would work. One of the first things I learned, filament color makes a huge difference. That red laser beam that comes out, well, it doesn't work well on red plastic or white plastic. It either just melts or burns. But you know what does work? Black. Gray, blue, and orange even work somewhat. And I'm still playing with it. You know, I learned that thinner is definitely not better for these types of tests, but there are some really awesome possibilities. The first thing I thought of, and I think this could be big, is to 3D print a business card with a color logo on one side. Then you flip it over, put it in the MOPA Fiber Laser, and print, anneal your perfect, crisp business information. In this way, it comes out a whole lot cleaner than trying to 3D print microtext. Along the same lines, you can use it for adding names to 3D printed trophies, text on lithophanes, or hey, what about HueForge art? Or even marking up 3D printed boxes, toys, coasters, frames, even vases. Vases? You can do the flat ones, sure, but round ones? That's where the optional rotary attachment comes in, and I haven't tested that one out yet, but keep watching in the future and I'll be showing that off. Now, for the whole reason for getting a fiber laser, at least in my opinion, this like pushes it so far over the top, especially with MOPA, and well, this may surprise you, color. Yeah, let that sink in. Color. From a laser. Well, it is a bit more complicated than I would like, but the GA60 can create color on stainless steel, brass, and titanium. But it's tricky, like way trickier than filament tuning. Now, I'm not going to pretend here to understand or be an expert about why all of that works, but I will tell you it has something to do with laser frequencies and lenses and material differences and oxidation, and well, it's a whole big thing. Fortunately, the Monport lasers come with a factory tested setting list that's attached just to the side of the laser, and that will help get you going. There's also a USB that'll be included that'll have all of these settings already pre-installed so that when you go into Lightburn, you just install it all, follow their very simple instructions, and you're on your way. Unfortunately, for me at least, for color, there's still a lot of tests to do. Lightburn does make it fairly easy with a material testing section they have built right into the software, but dialing in colors is kind of painful. takes a lot of time and wastes a lot of material. I did contact Monport to see if there was a better way to do this, and they even sent me a starting list of some settings. Right off the bat, I was able to get some really nice blues and greens, not to mention some really incredible gold colors, and then there was brown and tan. But colors that are eluding me are yellow, orange, and my own personal holy grail, red, which of course turns out that seems to be one of the hardest colors you can get. Also, just so you know, don't cheap out like I did at the start with these 0.02 millimeter stainless steel business cards for my test. Well, they warped up like Lay's potato chips. Not good. Focus is a huge part of getting colors right, and warpage doesn't help. So, chalked up a lot of my early tests to getting comfortable with the machine and got some thicker business cards. Color lasering, metal etching, annealing plastics, well, that all opens up a crazy range of creative possibilities, especially in our 3D print labs, and I've barely scratched the surface. Pun absolutely intended. But that brings us to the elephant in the laser lab: price. With all the capabilities, power, and precision, well, it stands to reason that fiber lasers cost more than diodes or even CO2 lasers. Depending on power and more, you'll find fiber lasers anywhere from, say, $4,000 to well over $10,000. Now, this 60-watt MOPA from Monport has a standard price of right at $7,000 or so, but they have had them on sale for about $4,700, with an occasional special sale making them even lower priced. Then there's the learning curve. Like I said, all those tests that I did, it's a leap from diode to fiber. Metals behave very differently. Focus, well, that's critical. And testing is kind of a lifestyle.
We have led different lives.
But the trade-off, incredible capability. And yeah, if you've mostly engraved wood, well, diodes, that's still the way to go. Fiber lasers, like I said, they burn wood to a crisp. But for metal, plastic, and precision, fiber wins. There you go. What do you think? Are you curious to see how a fiber laser can enhance your 3D print lab? I'll have affiliate links and more available in the description below, and I'll be sharing my experiences with different materials as I get it all figured out. And hey, let me know what you'd laser first. Business cards, tools, ooh, maybe a sword? Whether it's 3D printing, crafting, lasering, or whatever you add to your lab, it's all worth it as long as we continue to learn, create, and amaze.